Hi, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Thanks so much for joining me today on my final episode in my Water and Ink series. Today we are doing these two cards and we are looking at alcohol and how it works when you mix it with alcohol, and then we're looking at water-based inks and how they work when you're working with water. I call this my Splat technique. I love it, and this one is a big shout out to Linda Dalkey because I picked up how she had done her version of this and I loved it so much I wanted to replicate it. So I'm casing Linda on this one. This one I'm actually casing myself. So I did one of these many years ago. So have fun, enjoy my video for Water and Ink part 8. I can't believe that. It's so much fun. Okay, so all series we've been talking about water and ink and how you shouldn't ever use the same, the opposites attract, that you should use a alcohol-based ink when you want to do watercolouring, and you should use a water-based ink when you want to do alcohol marker colouring, and that's completely true. However, it does enable us, because we have these two different substances, you can do stuff with the same thing with the same substance. Okay, so here for example I have my little sheep egg cup. I can't turn it very much because its water's going to come out, but it is a little sheep. And I have my water re-inkers, water-based re-inkers. So these are our colours, our ink colours, but they're concentrated and they are in little bottles, but they are exactly the same as what's in our ink pads. Okay, so that's our water-based ink and some water. And then over here I have some alcohol markers, and in my little spritzer I have some of this, which is too large really for me to use as is. This is isopropanol alcohol, or it's called rubbing alcohol. In the old days you used to be able to pick this up at the pharmacy or in your local cake shop or something like that, because it's used quite a lot in cleaning substances and stuff like that. I got this from Amazon. This is called Lubrizolve online, which is where I got mine from. It is an organic solvent. It's basically just pure alcohol. Do not inject it, do not drink it. Okay, this is not good, and also it's highly flammable, so use it in a well ventilated area. Don't do it in your little crafty cubby hole and then breathe it in deeply. But we're only going to use a little part of it, so it's not that it's not dangerous, and you can buy them in smaller bottles. It's just because obviously I run classes and events, I got the big bottle. Okay, so over here we have alcohol and alcohol, and over here we have water and water. So I'm going to show you the two different techniques and how I made the two. It's something that I've thought about doing, but Linda Dalkey, my friend from Australia, absolutely got in there first and nailed it. We both seem to like pinks and blues. So we both have pinks and blues here. Over here I'm going on the red, orange and yellow scale. Okay, so we're going to do something different over here. As you saw earlier, but I did just want to give a shout out to Linda because this is her technique. Start off with the alcohol one because actually it's going to be less messy. Would you believe? The alcohol one will be less messy. Okay, so I've got so I have a piece of plain Whisper White cardstock here, and I have a piece of our window sheet, which is basically acetate. So it's just an acetate sheet. All right, and you need it. I like to do it slightly bigger than my piece of cardstock. Because it gives me more chance to mush and smush. You've also maybe heard this called the smooshing technique, when you do it with ink on acetate, but this is a brilliant way of doing it with alcohol. So this is Pretty Peacock. We're going to move a bit of Pretty Peacock around the paper. Then I have Highland Heather. Always love a bit of Highland Heather. I'm not merging these together, I'm just putting them next to each other. Bit of Pool Party for some lightness. It's very squeaky, just bear with us on the squeakiness. And then I'm going to go back and do some lovely lipstick, which is really a strong colour in between. Now this technique also allows me to show you something else, which is the fact that actually on here the alcohol is actually drawn onto the paper and can dry onto that paper, onto this acetate. So you can actually use it to colour on acetate and then use that as you know, just as like you could have a window, paint the window. You can stamp on acetate with our Stays On, because it's a permanent ink and it's alcohol based, and that will stay on window sheets. And then you can draw with your alcohol markers behind. So you can do quite a lot of funky things with acetate and alcohol markers and Stays On. Okay, so that's there, but it's just sort of sitting on the surface there. It's not going to absorb into anything. So now, using my spritzer that's full of alcohol, I'm just going to let that ooze. And if you want bigger drops, like actual drops, you can just lift this out and just sort of flick it on as well. That's good. Okay, so you can start to see now that it is starting to sort of ooze and merge and do things. Okay. And you can roll it around if you like. I think we need some more down here by the looks of it. This doesn't seem to have very much. The closer you squirt, the bigger the alcohol drops, if you see what I mean. There we go. That's better. So you want it really merging in. Okay, like so. Whee! And then I'm going to just pop my paper down on top and let that soak through. And you can see it soaking. And then whilst it's on there, you can just, if you want to, you can just flip that over and sort of smoosh it a bit more from the front, so you can see what you're doing a little bit more. And then when you lift, so you have all these amazing sort of multicoloured bits. And if you don't like how that's going and you want to have some more, because it looks quite, I seem to have lost quite a lot of some of the lighter colours, you can go into the gaps, add a bit more of the light maybe. The pink seems to be doing well, so we'll put a bit more pink in around there, and then spritz it again, and then just pick it up, whoops, and splush it over where you want it to go, like that. Way, that's nice. Okay, and then lift. Oop. You don't want to leave lines really. No, you can, it doesn't matter. There we go. And if you've got more, I think a bit more blue might be in order. So you can just play with this until you get the kind of background that you want. And once you've got that background, then you're off and running. I'm going to do this as a, oops, not as a line, as a sort of a splush. There we go. I like that, that's nice. Bit more blue coming in over here. So you can be quite placement with your alcohol, and it will just soak through the paper. So remember that, it's going to soak through because it's alcohol, you know, exactly the same way as when you use your blender pen, your blends, your Stampin' blends, they will soak through too. So then you just let that dry, and it will dry quite quickly because it is alcohol. It gives you a lovely background, fantastic colours. This is kind of almost gone a greeny blue down here. I might want to add a bit more purple. Let's see if I can't get this purple. This is dark Highland Heather. We don't have a gorgeous grape, but can you imagine if we had a gorgeous grape in blends, Stampin' blends? That would be lovely. There we go. I'm going to put that in as an idea. Please, can I have a gorgeous grape blend? There we go. Oh yeah, that's added a bit more colour there. And if you want to leave white bits, you can leave white bits. I'm just being a bit, there we go. Just want to have a bit more splodges like you do, as I did. Because I think it looked good, didn't it? So you want to bring in your splodges if you can. There we go. So everyone is going to be different. They're never going to be the same. But they're all going to look pretty good. So then you just leave that one to dry. So whilst that one's drying, we're going to carry on, and we're going to clean off our mat with our fingers. We don't need our acetate sheet now, because that's, whoops, that's purely, that acetate sheet was purely for the alcohol. So now we're doing our water version, and for this we need shimmery white cardstock because we're using water. Okay, so it works much better on shimmery white. And I'm going to use a clean dauber and just add water to each of these little palette things. You could use a saucer, you could use anything you like. It's just make sure you get some water going out into this, because you really do need to soak your daubers to get this to really work nicely. This one's going to be very nicely soaked. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add your colours in drops above the water. So don't put it in the water, put it somewhere where you can pick up the ink. And I call this my splat technique, because that's basically what you get. So red, orange, this will be my yellow. Okay, so then you pick up your ink and your water and you splat. Okay, and the less water and the less ink you have, the less splat you're going to get, which is why you need a lot of water. Look at that. So it's a real fun technique. You can dunk your dauber in your water, but remember, if it's got ink on it already, it's going to get the water dirty, so you just need to be careful of that. Oops, that one didn't have enough water. So you need quite a lot to get these really going, but you can go back over it again, so it's not an issue. I'm just going to hold that in the centre. This is such a fun technique, and I kind of found it by accident, as all the best techniques probably are found, just because I was playing with some water and ink one day, and I wonder what would happen if I did this, and it was like so cool. I just thought, yeah, I've got to do that again. So I actually have got a video out there of doing this technique from a few years ago, where I did it with blues and pinks and purples, and I just thought, you know what, this time I'm going to go and do different. Okay, so you can sort of fill in your little extra bits if you want to, kind of hold it down in the centre, and then you're going to use your hairdryer, not your hairdryer, why on earth did I say that? You're going to use your heat tool. Don't use your hairdryer, it won't work. And you're going to then dry this off. So isn't that cool? Isn't that just a beautiful background? And you could put anything on that, but I'm going to make this, as you saw, into a birthday card. And you can use any of our re-inkers like this. The only thing I will say is that silicone mats are retiring, so if you want to grab a silicone mat so that you can do these techniques, then please do so before they go. So now we've got our two different backgrounds. They are very different backgrounds, aren't they? And you can obviously watercolour this and make it more smooshy like that, but I just love this splat technique. So for this one, we want to do the butterflies. Now in Linda's, she cut the butterflies up, but I really like it just as it is, and it does fit just perfectly. Obviously you need a layer for this one, so this one we're going straight onto, I thought I'd put it on, so that's going to go straight onto Lovely Lipstick. And then this one, I've actually got the Noble Peacock foils that you can get, and I thought that green really went nicely with those, and then put that straight onto a pumpkin pie base, because that was the colours that I was using. So I think that just adds something to it, brings that to life. Okay, so we'll just put these together, and then I'll put sentiments on, and then we're done. I mean, they're really quick and easy. You could make loads of these in a batch, all different colours, all different splats, because every single one of them is going to be different. And exactly the same with this gorgeous alcohol based one. I mean, they're just so sort of smooth and blended. You know, it's alcohol ink, it blends, that's what it does. And then I've just used this champagne foil here because it is lovely. I really like the champagne foil. So to put these together, we're going to use multi-purpose glue on the back of both of them. Okay, so that's that one, and then we'll just add the sentiment. This one we're going to wrap the ribbon, and then again add the sentiment. So, bit of snail. Pop this around here. Anywhere really, I mean it doesn't really make any difference where you're going to put that because it's all pretty much splatty, so you can just choose wherever you don't, you know, wherever you feel like you need to have something popped on. There we go. Sometimes if I get like a little run or something that's not quite gone right, then that's where I always put my ribbon or my sentiment. There's always a way. There we go. I mean, just fabulous already, even without the sentiments on. So yeah, I'll put the sentiments on and we will finish that off. Okay, so for the sentiments, I am using the Birthday Jubilee stamp set. And I've used this one and this one. Celebrating you is the best and you deserve the best of everything, because I think they're great sentiments. It could be for a birthday, it could be for a congratulations card, it could be for a job well done, it could be for anything really. So I thought it works nicely. I'm using pumpkin pie ink on the shimmery white cardstock because it is slightly different. It's not white. It's sort of off-white, so if you put a white label on this it becomes very obvious. And then I'm just inking up my stamp, popping it down. Pumpkin pies are beautiful. I never really liked pumpkin pie before, I'm going to be completely honest, but it's so grown on me. It's like a really nice warm orangey colour. And you know, I'm a pink girl, so you wouldn't think I was an orange colour girl, but I do actually like pumpkin pie. It's just warming, I think is the word I'm looking for. And then we're going to punch that out with our 2-inch circle punch. And sadly, very sadly, I've used the Starburst punch, this one, to cut out one of these shapes in the same foil as we're using on the back of the Noble Peacock foils. But this punch is retiring. I'm so sad. I use it all the time. So never mind, I will have to use something else or find something new. So that's just life, we have to deal with things going. And it's good that things are going because some new really amazing things are coming. But it is sad, I love my Starburst. I might not get rid of it. It might become just one of those staple things that everyone has in their craft room, so we'll just carry on using it maybe, I don't know. I do like it very much, because it fits just perfectly behind this 2-inch, but gives a little bit of a extra zhuzh because it's bursting like that. And also I think it kind of works with the splats better like that. So then we need some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we'll just make sure that we've got these well covered. You know me, don't like soggy middles, especially when it's going over a ribbon. I like to make sure it's got good strength there. Okay, and then I don't like that splat there very much. Okay, so I like the out bit, but this bit here annoys me, so I'm just going to position my label so that it covers up that particular piece of splatting. And that's the great thing, you can do that with a label like that. Okay, so that's that one. And then for the lovely lipstick card with the butterflies on, I'm using the other sentiment, you deserve the best of everything. This I can use white cardstock because we did just use white cardstock at the back. My lovely lipstick ink, again retiring. So sad that this is going. And you notice I've got a bit of an empty patch in the middle, so I'm just going all the way around the edge to pick up travelling, as one of my demo colleagues calls it, travelling around the ink pad. And I think that's a great way to make sure that you get a good even coverage on your ink. It's because I've used that for daubing and stuff recently, so it's pushed the ink to the bottom. Alright, so for this one I'm using the tailored tag punch, which is staying, thankfully. We like that. Popping that out just there. Doesn't it fit nicely? Perfectly on both in that triangle. Actually, it's not a triangle, is it? I don't know what it's called. And then I'm punching out another one from Lovely Lipstick. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, but it's the same size, you'll never be able to put that behind. Well, I'm going to do this little trick where you just cut your cut your cardstock like that, pop some glue on here and just split it in the back of your sentiment like so. Just adds an extra little zhizhy border. It's lovely. There we go, like so. And then the same with this piece. Glue it up. And then just layer it on. It's so easy. You can make them as big or as little as you like. I want a little one for this because I don't want to hide too much of that butterfly that's behind. So that's that. Make sure it's straight. Not bad. Oh, this one's a bit crooked. That'll be fine. That looks fine. And then I was going to add just a little touch of this stripy behind, because it's just adds that pop of the gorgeous grape, which is sort of like the Highland Heather in the ink. So a bit of snail. Oops, take the lid off. A bit of snail. Stick that along there. And now dimensionals. And we can put dimensionals all the way across here, just catching that ribbon as you go. There we go. And then you have to decide whereabouts on your butterflies you want to hide. And I'm probably going to hide it on the same side, I think, because that's a bit too much. So I think I'll just hide it here. So there we have it, our two cards, one using water and water-based ink, and one using alcohol and alcohol-based ink, and two brilliant background techniques there, I think, for you to try out. And I think a really nice ending to our water and ink series that we've been doing over the past month. I can't believe we've done 8 videos just talking about, well, I can believe it actually, but some people probably couldn't believe, 8 videos just talking about the different ways of using all of the fabulous inks that Stampin' Up carries and how to use them to their best advantage. And I really hope that you have enjoyed the series. I know I've had some fantastic feedback, so thank you so much to everybody who has sent me comments and talked to me at classes and said you've really enjoyed and you've learnt loads of stuff from these. And I hope you'll, continue to play really with your water and your ink and your alcohol. Obviously not your gin and tonic kind of alcohol, that's up to you. But your alcohol markers, and just give it a go and see what happens. Playing is the best way of working out how anything works. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you again next month where we'll be doing things with folds. So cards with folds, some fancy, some wow, some pretty standard, but they still pack a punch when they sit on your mantelpiece. So thanks ever so much for watching. This is Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Take care now. Bye bye.